Already, I know this thing looks like a complete mess of Godzilla stuff, but trust me, everything is on here, and we're gonna make sure that everything's all set to go. So let's go. Which one are we gonna get? And we got the Playmates Giant Kong G.M.K 11-inch. All right, let's go. Hello everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar presented by me. My name is Matthew, and as you guys just saw, the first figure we're going to be reviewing is the Playmates Giant Kong from Godzilla vs. Kong. He stands pretty much 11 inches tall, and we're going to be kind of going over him a little bit, discussing what I like, what I don't like, even though this guy's a fairly simplistic figure for being such a large figure, actually. Let's actually start with some of the positives. He has a very nice sculpt and very nice detail. Like, for example, I think a highlight would actually be the beard. You can actually... It's kind of sharp, actually, which is weird to say, a sharp beard. Well, maybe people might say, oh, that's a sharp-looking beard for some sort of reason. He has some really nice fur detailing going down the arm, the back. I know some people complain about the screw holes, but honestly, over the years, I've had many toys that have had screw holes. So screw holes on a Godzilla or Kong figure doesn't really bug me all that much. The teeth are painted pretty dang well, and he kind of has like a snaggletooth going on, and you can actually kind of see right there. It kind of goes in the mouth a little bit, almost like he has a full row of teeth that are actually sculpted in there, and you just can't see it. He has nice detailing on the toes. You can actually kind of make out his toenails. Not sure if you can with this kind of lighting. And I like the eye paint as well, although it kind of looks a little cartoony. That being said, I also like the articulation. You can move his head from side to side. Can't go up and down, sadly, but you can go up and down with the arms, rotate at the wrists, rotate at the legs, and rotate at the feet, or the ankles, I guess. Although these things are really stiff, my goodness. So yeah, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points of articulation. To put that in perspective, Godzilla 2004, the giant one from Playmates, also has, I think, 9 points of articulation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, he's like literally, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I thought I didn't count the head for a sec. Now, is there any negatives? Well, I kind of have one gripe with it. And I really felt like the figure could have used more paint across the body, you know? What I mean by that is, Kong is a very colorful creature, you know? Colorful in that he has color to him. His fur is kind of like a brownish color, maybe some red in some areas. And he's got, like, scarring across his chest, which they had the scarring painted. But he's just a solid black color. There's no dry brushing to give out some of the finer details. That and the scars just kind of painted on. It's not sculpted. So, well, I mean, at least the belly button's sculpted. Yeah, it's very minimal paint, and that's something I don't like. Another thing I don't really like is the stiffness, because, like, the feet are really stiff, and the wrists especially, but the arms and legs are fine to spin as pretty much, and the head is fine to spin as well, but the wrists and ankles are really stiff. And I've had this thing for like, what, about a year now? Maybe? I don't know. So yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents about this guy. I'm not going to go in depth because I've already talked about him. I've pretty much talked about almost every single figure. Almost? No, I think actually every. Unless if I'm missing one. But yeah, that's kind of about it for this Kong. I definitely do suggest you pick this thing up, because if you want like a basic con that doesn't have any gimmicks, not too bad, I'd say this thing is good. Run into your local Walmart, pick this guy up for like $20. You're all set to go. That being said, special thanks to my my sister for getting this for me. And that being said, yeah, see you guys next time.
Okay, so unfortunately, the last episode, we had a bit of technical difficulties. For example, I forgot a figure, and one of the YUBI Fingerpuppets had too much spaces. So, hopefully everything's all good to go. I removed the Playmates giant Kong from the list, so here we go. What do we get for day 2? Alright. The Imperial Red Godzilla Bootleg. Let's go. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar. I don't know what I was going to say, but my name is Matthew, and this is day 2 of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar, where every single day up until Christmas, we're going to randomly select a figure using a spin the wheel game to determine which figure we're going to take a look at. And as you guys just saw from the title and thumbnail and the video before, it is this guy. Weird history. This guy doesn't actually have an official name, nor does he have an official brand. Probably some knockoff company went ahead and starts claiming this as, you know, their definitive Godzilla. But I've seen this guy, the same mold, tossed around from company to company to company, and they all claim it as their own. In fact, most bootleg companies just claim their own thing as a pre-existing figure from, like, say, NECA, MonsterVerse, Bandai, or Playmates as their own. So, who should I believe? But yeah, this is based on the Imperial, the Godzilla from the 80s. And so they made this. They made the green version, which I actually have over there. And so they basically took it, turned it red, and if you have 2 of them, they look really well together, almost like Christmas themed. And hey, that's what we're celebrating. I got this guy, when did I get this guy? Like 2017, 2016, somewhere around there. So yeah, he's barely one of the older Godzillas in my collection. So for the positives and negatives, the positives is that he's really colorful. He has very blue eyes, which are pretty well painted for a bootleg figure. The teeth are individually sculpted. Yeah, they're individually sculpted with some decent paint, although mine's chipped. Probably could be just due to longevity. Why do I keep running my nose? You also have like a nice little gradient on the dorsal fins. Almost makes it look like something with autumn, maybe. So that could be something. This top dorsal fin for some reason is bent when the others are not. Because like it could just be to the way it's packaged, but then again, why aren't the other figures, spines, not other figures, why aren't the other spines curved? Well, I guess they are kind of curved, but like not to this extent. You also get his nice little beady tail, which you think it'd have a longer tail. And yeah, it also has like black sprays throughout. For articulation, it doesn't have any movement at the head nor mouth, but it does have some articulation at the wrists, the arms, not the wrists. You can go back and forth at the legs like that. You can actually go a full 360 with this thing. And you can actually go a full 360 with the tail. You can do it with the arms, but I don't recommend one with the arms. Why? This one, his arm is actually starting to tear at the oval ring. If you don't know what I mean, basically, all vinyl figures have this. If you were to take off their arms or legs, they're connected with a big ring of vinyl. So that's how they get stuck on, and that's how they move. yeah, this guy's this arm is starting to tear off. So in a way, it actually kind of puts itself like as a bigger version of the little Godzilla that's kind of the similar design to this one. It's actually at the top shelf, and my school gave that to me many, many years ago. And his arm is actually missing. We never were able to find it. That thing was probably like long gone by the time I found out that thing was a big thing at my school. So that's kind of a negative, but that's more negative on my side. I kind of do wish there was a head rotation or something like that, but overall, I have very little negatives with this guy. Maybe the paint might be a bit too easy to chip because I'm seeing chip, especially at the tip of the tail, looking like Shin Godzilla. Funny enough, this was actually Shin Godzilla in the Angry Birds and Godzilla show for a little while, until I actually got a true blue Shin Godzilla figure, or true red Shin Godzilla figure, and put it as Shin Godzilla and replace this with that, which is the Movie Monster series, which is a different figure entirely. So yeah, also paint chips right there. But yeah, that's kind of about it for this Godzilla Advent Calendar, Day 2. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and tune in for tomorrow where we go with Day 3. See you later, everyone. Alright, everybody. Today's Day 3. We're going to be taking another spin. Here we go. And we get the Bandai Creations King Ghidorah 2001. Let's go. Hello everybody, welcome to Day 3 of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and as you guys just saw, we're taking a look at the golden three-headed king himself, King Ghidorah. Now, there's a lot of things I can say about this guy. You know, some positives, some negatives. But let's get started, I guess. For the positives, I will give it that this thing has a very nice sculpt. It certainly looks like what we saw on screen, which, honestly, it's not that hard to replicate. He was very plasticky looking in the movie. Kind of looked like a big puppet. Because I know that's what they used, a big puppet. But it kind of looked too much like a puppet. You know what I'm talking about. I'll get to that in a different video. The wings look phenomenal. Although they do lack some detail. Would have liked it if they had some detail. Because you have like very good scaling here. Then you just have this. Also, the wings are very thick. Like this is a very thick vinyl, by the way. We have King Ghidorah's chicken legs. Look at how small those things are. And the tails, they're pretty thin, but they do curve out to the side, which I do like. So the pose is pretty fine. For articulation, there's no movement at the head, which is kind of disappointing because there's seam lines right there, because you think you'd just be able to twist them off. Or sorry, twist them and break the glue seal. No, you just break them right off. We have movable wings that can flap, not up and down as you think, but they actually go like out to the side and into the side a bit. And we actually have like what degree of cut is this? I'm not even gonna attempt. I think that might be a 95 degree. No, that can't be 95 degree. Again, I don't know my angles very well. But you have like this very strange angle. You guys can kind of see it. And that allows the tail to actually spin this way. And it allows it to spin this way. And I like this cut for two reasons. One, if you're leaning him at the back of a display like I do, if you do this, it actually looks rather fine, assuming you're not looking at that part of the tail. And if you do it this way, you can kind of get into like some sort of levitation, flying pose maybe. Look at that. That looks like he's flying. Or you could do this and make it look like he's really flying up in the air, like I can't do the Ghidorah sound. Some negatives I do have is that the paint chips easily. I don't roughhouse with this thing at all. Maybe I did with the Amber's Godzilla show episodes, but those are very mild. I can see scuff marks all over the wings. And the lack of articulation is also kind of a big minus, because Ghidorah is a very flexible creature, you know. He's got a lot of joints, he's got a lot of neck range, tail range, foot range. But he only has movement at the base of the tail and the base of the wings, and that's it. That's only 1, 2, 3 joints. A long time ago, I actually popped off this tail joint, thinking that it would move, and lo and behold, it didn't move. In fact, it just broke right off, so I had to glue that sucker back in place. So, overall, this thing is pretty dang good. He's nice he's a nice figure overall, and he'll definitely scale well with your 6-inch G.M.K. figures, because I know there's a few on the market. There's the overpriced Monstars, which I have over there. The NECA, which actually there's 2 of them. I think there's also 2 Monstars, actually. The original one and the Heat Ray one, which doesn't even come with a Heat Ray. Come on, SHMA. Cheap guys. And then there's also the Creations one that released a long time ago. Yeah, I think so. And, yeah, they've been... any of those Godzillas will go great with this Ghidorah. Because I think they were about the same height in the movie. Why do I keep rubbing my nose? But that being said, thank you guys for watching day 3 of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for day 4. What figure will it be? Find out then. See you guys later.
This is day 4. Let's get this started. 3, 2, 1. Alright. Playmates SpaceGodzilla. Here we go.
Hi everybody, welcome back to another Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2021. My name is Matt, and welcome to day 4, where, as you probably could tell by the title and thumbnail, and the video you just saw before this, yep, it's him, the Playmates SpaceGodzilla. I did not expect this thing to win. I honestly thought it was going to land on a NECA, because I had like a few NECAs around that area of the list. But no, it landed on a Playmates figure. Another one. This is the second Playmates. I did Giant Kong, and now I'm doing this one. And technically, the Bandai Ghidorah turned into a Playmates Ghidorah, because they rebranded the Bandai ones as Playmates ones for some reason. Or I think they just bought the rights. They're still Bandai's though. Which, hey Bandai, when are you going to start you really using the Godzilla IP for stuff aside from imports and reissues? Like, come on, give us some new products. Anyway, so for positives and negatives, again, the circumstances I talked about in my Shin Godzilla 2016 Playmates video does apply here. For a brief history, the plan was for G.M.K to release in March of 2020, and then the movie got delayed to November 2020, so they had to scramble and release stuff still under contract with Walmart, and that's how these things ended up being made. I do like the sculpt on this thing. It is definitely pretty good. I like its long tail. Any paint chips? No. I'm surprised this thing hasn't painted chipped at all. Yeah, it hasn't chipped at all. Yeah, it's like very molded in a hard plastic. Oh, hey, kitty. Yeah, it's not over the top sculpting detail, but still pretty dang good. The articulation is another plus, I guess. You have a rotation at the head, slight rotation at the arms. They might as well just be nubs. Like, you might as well just not have the arm articulation there. You can move back and forth a hindered leg joint. Like, nothing's, the sculpt is not hindering it. There's something in there that's hindering it from moving at a full 360. Why Playmates didn't just
give us the full rotation when they did out minifigures like Final Wars? I have no idea. Same with the other leg. Both feet can rotate full 360, and the tail can't move right here, but it can move right here. For the paint job, there we go. The biggest negative about this figure. Again, I understand I'm going to be a little more gentle with this thing because of the circumstances. That being said, the paint job is okay. The crown is painted, just slapped on. It's not even painted the full way. Look. Yeah, this is definitely proof that this thing was a rush job. You have a nice little spray. I'll give it this. The gradient on the crystal corn shoulder blades look pretty cool. That's why I like to call them the crystal corns. The paint on the claws, you have a nice little spray right there. The face is just white striped teeth. The eyes are goofy as heck with orange and black paint for the eyes. Nice red stomach though. Like, it's actually fairly glossy and shiny and kind of smooth to the touch. And everything else is kind of sprayed on, including the toes. And then this just looked like they just dipped it in paint and called it a day, kind of similar to what they did with the bootleg Shin Godzilla up there. And this whole section is one big piece of crystals. Actually, maybe the middle part might be its own piece. Yeah, there's like two different pieces that are stacked up on other like Legos. And this piece entirely, it's its own thing. And you actually get the figure like this. You get the figure like this, but you just peg it on the ball joint, which it doesn't act like a ball joint, it just acts like a simple rotation, so don't be fooled. And you just simply peg it on. So, would I recommend this? Yeah, if you're looking for a cheap SpaceGodzilla figure for like $10, I mean, you don't really care about paint chipping and all that much, go right ahead. Otherwise, I just suggest go the extra $10 and get the movie Monster Series or what other kind of SpaceGodzillas are on the market for an extra $10 on eBay and Amazon. Maybe Hobby Link Japan has them as well. But yeah, that's all for today's Godzilla Advent Calendar Day 4 of 2021. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone. Talk about small, because this thing is the smallest figure I'm reviewing so far. 3.5 inches to be exact. Welcome to day 5 of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. My name is Matt, and today we're taking a look at this little guy. Honestly, I didn't know if this figure would even win because I wanted it to win. I at least want a spot, but here we are. We're going to kind of go over the positives and negatives, what I like about and don't like about this thing, and kind of work from there. For positives, the paint job and sculpting and articulation are pretty dang good. The painting on the eyes, even though he's pointing off and staring off into two different directions, you can kind of see that. He's got like a really nice paint job on the teeth and tongue especially. Don't know how they got that in there. They must have had like some sort of really tiny paintbrush and painted that sucker in. Huh. And especially with all those teeth. I'm just wondering if that's even paint. Probably is. The dorsal fins are a little bit scuffed on mine, but honestly I got this thing used, so that was to be expected. Bandai being Bandai, they only painted like this portion of the spines and left the rest of the tail blank. And that's kind of it for paint, for the sculpting. And it's definitely consistent throughout, though I will say stuff like the wrists and the toes are a bit too mellow in terms of detail. In fact, they're more glossy. Yeah, you can kind of see that right there. And proportion-wise, this thing is pretty dang accurate. Accurate, I mean. Articulation, there's nothing up the head nor jaw because it's a vinyl.
but you can move back and forth at the arms a little bit like this, back and forth at the legs, and twist at the tail. All for negatives. I'm not going to say that the size is a negative, because it's not. All figures, especially for Godzilla, come in an assortment of different sizes, and this one's no exception. But if I had to point out one negative, I don't know. I honestly don't know. There's really nothing I can really point out as a negative. I'm not saying this figure is perfect, but at the same time, there's nothing really bringing it down. But what's so significant about this figure is that not only is this one of the first figures to enter the collection that's not NECA, but this is also the Godzilla figure that I brought to every single Godzilla movie premiere up to date. I brought this in the Shin Godzilla, King of the Monsters in 2019, and even watched it with it in Godzilla vs. Kong. Sadly, I had to stay home because of the pandemic. But hey, I did pay money to see it. Streaming service you might know as HBO Max. So that's a plus. And that's pretty much it. This might be the shortest episode. There's not much to say about him. He doesn't come with any accessories. And I think these things were recently brought out again. So I guess go in your local comic shop, Walmart, Target, see if you can find these things. I think these things are about $5-10. They're definitely worth it. So that being said, see you guys in the next Advent Calendar. Don't know why I struggle to say that. See you guys later. Really? Just really? Have we gotten to that time where we talk about what might be the most fragile figure in my collection? Actually, no, I think the Monster Arts G.M.K holds that title, but this is pretty dang close. Today, we're talking about poster version NECA Mothra version 2. Look at that. What can I say? You might be wondering why I'm just being so negative. Well, it's actually because I'll get into it actually in the negative section. But let's start off with the positives. The paint job and sculpting is beautiful. This looks like an actual insect. I know it's like part of the movie design, but still. Given how small this thing is too, this is something that you probably don't want to mess with. I love this thing, like, a lot. The clear rod's a nice addition, especially with the painted base. The fact that it's also slightly different from the original Mothra, that's a plus. The articulation for what it is, it's fine on its own. Honestly, you can't do much with the design. I'm not even going to fiddle with the wings at all. And the base is, once again, going back to the base, really well painted. You can see like every single paint crevice and whatnot detail on there. But the negatives come in as soon as you handle this thing, or as soon as you open this. Why? Because both version 1 and version 2 share the same problems. They're too fragile. Now I know what you're saying, but of course they're fragile. Look at it. Well, yeah, that's the thing. The sculpting is beautiful, the painting is beautiful, the articulation is beautiful, and the size is accurate, but the size is its main drawback. I don't like how small this thing is. Like, at all, period. Now, I know what people are going to say, it's size accurate, yada yada yada. But that's its problem. This figure is way too small for me. In terms of size accuracy, yes, it is perfect. But in terms of handling it like an action figure, like it is, it's way too small. It's fragile.
You can blame that on Michael Dougherty and his team of artists, VFX artists or visual artists, modelers, kaiju designers, what Titan designers, whatever they are. That is solely on them. Yes, I know NECA had what they had to work with and did the best they could. NECA did the best they could. I don't think NECA could have done any better than this, at least at the $20 price range. But at the same time, the design is its ultimate drawback. The fact that Mothra is so small in comparison to the other monsters. Like, just for a little bit of a comparison, Mothra's whole body is about the size of Godzilla's head. And you know how often that thing gets ridiculed for being too small? Now, I know the wings are much bigger. In fact, they almost look like big eyebrows. Or maybe like bunny ears or something. Or helicopter blades. Sorry if you hear noise up there. But, again, it's too small for my liking. I guess that's just... I know that's the movie's fault. But just people... NECA made the figure into a 6-inch scale Godzilla figure where it would scale with the Godzilla that came out. I have all 6 of them, so I would know. That's its main problem. It's too small, and therefore you can't mess around with this thing much. Now, I guess another negative would be more on the version 1 thing, where they teased a Mothra larva to come with it, but then NECA said basically, oh, that's not supposed to come with the Mothra larva. And then, like, what happened? Why was NECA not able to feature a Mothra larva? Like, that's my question. If they were able to pitch the idea of a Mothra larva, I don't know, some licensing. But that's a different topic for another day. Do I recommend this? If you can find a good price, because chances are they're gonna skyrocket this thing in price, but this doesn't seem like the most sought after NECA Godzilla after all. If you can find this thing for a good price and you're super careful with handling your action figures, go right ahead. But if you're not, you like to roughhouse with the things, dream like toys, ram them, bash them, whatever, don't get this. Skip over it. Don't even look at this thing. Anyways, that's all I have to say for this video, and see you guys later. Welcome back to another day of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. My name is Matt, or Matthew, I guess, and for the first time ever, we're reviewing a figure that is not Godzilla on this Advent Calendar. Well, Godzilla as in, well, he's not Godzilla. I mean, okay, not Godzilla branded, there you go. Unofficially or officially, this is this thing. I don't know what it's called, so I just call it the glow-in-the-dark Tyrannosaurus, unless this thing has a different name. Now, if anyone's wondering, where did this thing come from? What is this thing? Who made this? I have no idea. All it just says is made in China, and that's it. Like, seriously. It has... This is going to be a rather quick review, because it's so small, not to mention it's actually missing some parts. It's missing its right leg, and it's missing its tail, which leads me to believe that a dog came in and probably bit this thing to shreds. Let's see here. For sculpt and painting, the sculpting is pretty dang sweet with individually sculpted paint. Got some nice detail on the skin here. The eyes are the only thing that are painted, actually. Unless this whole figure's painted, but I'm just not seeing it well. It's like a white color to a greenish a little bit. Yeah, I think so. Oh, wait a sec. Huh, I'm literally just noticing this now. The red paint on this eye is like to the center. On that one's to the center. This one's actually kind of straightforward. Huh. Interesting. There's no articulation on him, sadly, but given the size and material, you could have at least added a swivel. For accessories, he doesn't really come with anything. So yeah, for positives and negatives, like the sculpt, I like the very minimal paint application. Even though Playmates Shin Godzilla has more paint than this, but I will give it that this one's applied better. Negatives, no articulation, and I'm not gonna count the torn pieces off as a negative because that's on the person's fault, whoever got this thing. So I guess that's, or whoever originally had this, because I think this was bought used. But yeah, that's really all there is to say. This is a very simplistic Godzilla Advent Calendar episode, so see you guys next time. Welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar 2021. My name is Matt, and, well, as you guys just saw, we have a set of figures to review instead of just one. That is, well, there we go, the Bandai minifigure Blingbag that were released in like 2019, 2020, somewhere around there. But I just want to make this fairly clear. I don't own the full set yet. I think I still have to get like 2-3 more, then I have the full set. But I don't really think I'm going to be getting the full set, really, because in my opinion, blind bags are just cheap. They're stupid. I know they're fun to like say, oh, you never know which one you're going to get, and then you open it up and it's like your 4th Mothra. Oh wait, that's actually what happened, because I actually have my 1 Mothra, and on the shelf I have 3 others, so that's 4. You can watch my collection videos about that in recent years. I'm going to be doing one this month, so stick around. Moving back here, the ones I do have is King Ghidorah, Rodan, SpaceGodzilla, Rodan from 1956, Godzilla 84, and Mothra 92, I think. Most of these are pretty dang good, like Rodan, Ghidorah, SpaceGodzilla. And Godzilla, pretty much all of them are good. I would say that the only problem I have with them is paint chipping, but honestly, when the figure's about the size of your thumb, then yeah, they're going to be rather prone to paint chipping. Although it's kind of weird how this figure has more, this SpaceGodzilla actually has better paint than the Playmates SpaceGodzilla. And if you're wondering who won that figure comparison I did a while back between this guy and the 6-inch SpaceGodzilla, yes, that actually happened. This guy won. I'm not kidding, this guy won. He actually beat SpaceGodzilla. Did he? Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that. But positives and negatives. Well, the positives is that they're pretty good, sculpted wise. They come in a nice set. Well, they don't come in sets. I choose to review them as they are, because they go well together, really well. But the problem is that they're in blind bags and they're tiny as heck. Well, then again, what are you gonna do? Make a blind box for 6-inch figures? I really don't have anything else to say. They're rather simplistic. If you want a more in-depth comparison or review analysis, I highly recommend watching the review I did. It's one of the most popular videos on my channel, Godzilla-wise.
And yeah, that's all I really have to say for this Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar for day 8. How do you guys do 8 on your fingers? Do you guys do 8 like this? Do you guys do 8 like this? Or do you actually flip it and do 8 like this? How do you do it? But yeah, that's all I have to really say for this video. If you liked it, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone. Hello everybody, welcome back to another day of the Godzilla Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and today we're doing another Godzilla Advent Calendar. This is day 9, where we're reviewing this fellow, the Shin Godzilla poster. That's why it's recorded vertical instead of horizontal, because I feel like if you're going to take a look at a poster, it's rather good to take a look at it vertical. Horizontal. Did I say that? Yeah. I actually got this at the premiere of Shin Godzilla 5 years ago. I remember it like it was yesterday. Alright, so I actually remember, like, when I went to see the movie, they were handing out these posters. Not much people got them, but luckily I did, and I scored a poster, kept it since, and yeah, it has a little bit of a rips and folds and whatnot. But it's overall still in fine condition. I mean, you've got some pinholes. Yeah, this thing was not treated too well, but it's still in decent condition. Shin Godzilla's eye blurred out right there. A little bit of folds, a little bit of creases. But overall, love the render used here in the movie. Definitely accurate. I mean, it's the model from the movie. Of course it's accurate. God Incarnate, A City Doomed. Okay, you're not going to be able to see it. Shin Godzilla. I'm looking at the poster, not the phone while I do this. October 11th to 18th. I actually saw this on the 12th, because that's when my theater opened for this. 2016. Don't miss this limited theatrical event. Again, okay, I gotta stop doing in a bunch of stuff here. I actually remember a person at the theater was holding a Godzilla 2000, and I was thinking, wonder where they got that from. They said the name of a store. I think it was Walmart, maybe? Could have been Walmart. I can't remember what they exactly said. But, yeah, that's, what, this is. Anyways, if you guys like this, like and subscribe, and, stay tuned for tomorrow. Welcome back to the Godzilla 2021 I ain't cutting that out. Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and today we're taking a look at day 10, the Godzilla vs. Kong with Battle Axe flopped version. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. When I got this guy, I didn't even expect to get him. I just ran into him at a store, and my mom got him. So, thank you, Mom. Thank you for getting me this, and the hundreds of Godzillas that you got me over the years. So, yeah, we're gonna be kind of taking a look at him here. I already took a look at him once, I think, maybe twice if you or a few times if you count the other figure comparisons. But like in terms of a general review, sorry if you hear background noise. Busy family. We have some nice flocked material. It feels like cloth almost. Paint job's pretty good. Got some nice orange eyes here. The battle axe is kind of painted like garbage, honestly. Like, it's so mellow in terms of detail yet. They couldn't have like done what they did with the Godzilla fins on the glow in the dark one. I am grabbing it because it's like really high up on the shelf. And like, okay, I'm gonna stop ranting about that. But the bone itself, like the axe, like as a whole, looks pretty dang sweet. He's holding it very, very nicely. Don't know how you can hold an axe weird. Maybe like if you have it up here, but then again you might be bringing it like that, like Kong did in the movie. Yeah, there's not much to say about it. For articulation, you have like this. Positives and negatives, again, like the sculpting, like the flocked material. I like the one point that it actually has. This is all the articulation I have on any of my Funko Pops, and I have 3 of them. Funko collectors are probably laughing at me saying, he only has 3. I'm not a Funko collector. I'm a Godzilla collector. So yeah, that's probably something I should point out there. For negatives, the scarring right here is kind of trashy. You can actually kind of see me pointing it out in my unboxing and original review. The plastic pieces look kind of cheaply put on there, as if they were just glued on, especially the ear. And the flocked material, I know it's flocked material, it's prone to this, but it constantly gets like these little hairs, and it certainly doesn't help if you have dogs or cats that especially shed a lot. So, and as a person who has multiple pets, this does not help my case. Anyways, that's all I have to say for this review. If you can find them for a good price, because I got this thing for like 30-40 bucks, like, my goodness. To be fair, he is an exclusive, but that being said, that's all I really have to say. Just like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar installment. See you guys later. Hi everybody, welcome to day 3, not day 3, this is video 3 of the video I'm currently recording. Welcome to day 11 of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. My name is Matt, and today we're taking a look at what might be one of my favorite Godzilla, not figures, because this doesn't count as a figure, this is a completely different thing, a coin bank. Pretty much Godzilla products, merchandise ever. This little box. You might be wondering what's so special about this little box. Well, it's actually a Godzilla coin bank. Now, I don't want to put a coin up here because I know coins are different per region, so it might be depending on where you live. So here's the coin box, and basically you're supposed to put a coin up here, right up here. You see this little thing, and then you press it. And Godzilla comes up and he grabs the coin and pulls it down beneath the sea. Now what's really cool about this coin box is that the mold overall presentation about this, it's actually pretty dang sweet. You got a nice translucent blue for pretty much the whole base. There's a slight piece of blue, kind of gray kind of color. And the boat right here is a dark gray. I'm wondering if this is like an island, that's why it shines green and not painted green. I've seen some versions of this where it's actually painted green. At least I think. Yeah, I think so. And I know there's a Burning Godzilla version, but that's literally no different than the one we have here, aside from the color. The Godzilla picture here is stolen from an IDW comic. And there's a paw print right there. Right there. Or, well, not. So this is kind of all I really have to say about this one. There's not much to him. He's a gimmicky little toy, not toy, it's very useful. I like this thing a lot. So if you guys want to put like coins in here, spare change, let Godzilla do your work. And yeah, ironic that Godzilla destroys buildings and costs the humans millions to billions to trillions of dollars in damage, but he'll save your change. Got mixed opinions about humanity with their little buddy. I guess that's his answer for maybe. But that's all for today. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Hello everybody, welcome back to another figure review. My name is Matt, and we're doing another day of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. And welcome to day 12, which is the Vinimates Godzilla 95, Burning Godzilla. I got this guy like a year or two ago. Was it a year or two ago? Somewhere around there. Actually, it might have been this year. Was it? I don't know. It's been a while since I last got this guy. So, positives and negatives. Positives, I would say the sculpted details are fantastic. At least for something of this size, this magnitude, and like what it's trying to go for. Because it's not meant to be like, or not going to be the biggest high quality figure of all time. No. This is just something that's small, unique, you want it on the shelf, go right ahead. The paint is also pretty dang sweet too. We got some nice beady yellow eyes, or orange eyes, kind of orange to yellow to how was it, black? So think of the colors of Reese, I guess. We have some nicely painted teeth, individually painted as well. Look at that. Especially on the front too. The burning patches feel kind of rough to the touch, but they are very vibrant at the very least. Well, it's more vibrant on camera thanks to the lighting. I guess because of the multicolored lighting I have going on. But I also have some nice claw paint too, with a little divot, almost like some sort of Lego, or maybe what are they? Robloxians? Roblox, the Roblox characters. I don't play Roblox anymore. It's been years since I last played the game, so. And the dorsal fins are painted fine too, but we get down to like the segments here that are purely just gray. The articulation is decent. Have a head rotation and a tail rotation, which it actually plugs in on a ball joint, but thanks to the way it's sculpted, there's not going to be any like of this movement. No, it's just going to be a standard rotation. There we go. Is there any drawbacks? Well, I do have a few complaints about this one. For one thing, the mold isn't even the 95, it's the 54. And you can tell because of the way the face is shaped. Does this look like a Heisei Godzilla? Or does this look like 54? I think the answer is pretty obvious. Also, the dorsal fins are the 54 fins, just painted orange. And it's even more obvious when you get to the feet. Now, the Heisei Godzilla always had 4 toes, but they were all evenly. They were all even with each other. 54 had 4 toes, 3 to the front and 1 to the side, instead of all 4 being even at the front. That's what the Heisei Godzilla had, but this is what 54 had. So, and another negative I'd say is the spikes. You can't really see it too well on camera, but you can actually see in my previous review of this guy, previous reviews, not sure if I took a look at him again, aside from this and the original review, is that this guy's spines actually came out very webby. So, not to mention there's a bit of Axis plastic on one of my dorsal fins right on the tail. Yeah, you can kind of see it's right where my eyeball is. Yeah, right there. But so that's kind of all I have to say. There's a glow-in-the-dark feature, but I'm unfortunately, at least for the time being, not going to be able to show you guys that because my camera cannot pick up glow-in-the-dark objects. Like, it can't. One time my camera picked up the Reactor Godzilla, but that was a different phone. That was a different camera. And, like, I never gotten able to work with it since. But, yeah, that's all I have to say for now. Thank you guys for watching day 12 of the... Come on, peg back in there. Thank you guys for watching day 12, and I'll see you guys next time. Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew, and for the first time ever, we're reviewing a custom figure that I completely made. This isn't really a figure, more of like a vehicle, but here he is, my Godzilla truck. Basically, I made him several years ago, and I'll tell you the whole story. So, I was participating in a race where we were required to make our own vehicles and have them race against each other. Unfortunately, this Godzilla truck never raced anybody. At least I don't think. Yeah, he never raced because I somehow missed all the races. Like, it was completely circumstantial. It only happened on that one day, and I somehow missed both of them, like in terms of the years. So, sadly, I never got to enter this guy in any race, but he's still a novelty of the collection. Now, fun thing to note, he actually had a trailer, like most trucks do. But, unfortunately, that was thrown out. In fact, all my Godzilla boxes were thrown out, including that. Like, I put all the Godzilla boxes in one big thing, along with my truck and my electronic picture. You might actually remember that from my Godzilla collection video a few years ago. But those got thrown out because I think they were mistaken for trash because I put them in a trash bag. Now, before anyone says, why didn't you put it in like a different type of bag? Do you guys not realize of how much stuff I had back then? It would have been impossible for me to just put them in a few bins because we were mainly using the boxes and bins for more necessary stuff like clothing, furniture, and other things, basically. The proper necessities that a human should have. And my Godzilla figures just had their own bin, but there was no way I could have been able to carry the boxes and what miscellaneous stuff without taking that. So that's how the trailer got lost, because someone thought that was a trash bag full of, well, trash and just threw it away. I had no control over that because by the time I realized that, it was already too late. But I still managed to keep this truck because I kept it in the Godzilla bin for some reason, though I could have kept it in. Although I think that's kind of a stupid choice on my part to do that. But at the end of the day, someone mistaken it and all my stuff was gone. But at the least, I didn't put my figures in there. Otherwise, I would have been screwed. Which brings us to the truck. Which, I'm going to critique my own thing. For what I did back then, this is pretty dang sweet. You have a nice Godzilla face. You have nice Japanese text I wrote on it. The dorsal fins are actually made of cardboard. I cut like 3 triangles out and put them like that. In fact, the whole trailer had like a single row of dorsal fins. I think 3 rows. I think it was a single row. And then right at the back was a dinky little tail. I would have made the tail longer, but the limit was like so much centimeters that the tail could not have been any longer than it was. So it was kind of a dinky little tail. Kept repainting it, going back, doing all this stuff. That's why this thing looks like it's caked in it. In this thing, because like, I wonder what those real holes are from. Oh wait, that's for the weight.
I'm just having all these memories flood back in. But yeah. There's also some glitter, which sadly I don't think really acts as glitter. It's slightly reflective, but you put it up to a light, it's not going to do anything. In fact, I actually have a light right here, just off camera. It's not really doing anything, so. But yeah, that's all I have to really say about that. It's not really a figure you can buy because I made it. It's one of a kind. And this will definitely be one of the biggest novelties in my collection. I made this. I put it together. I painted it. I got creative with it. I did the drawings, the illustrations. I did everything. So, that being said, that's all I have to say for this video. If you liked it, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for tomorrow, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Hello everybody, welcome to day 14? Yeah, I think it's day 14. Day 14 of the Godzilla Advent Calendar. My name is Matt, and today we're finally taking a look at a NECA figure. Godzilla figure that's not Mothra. Finally, right? Like, it's been 13 days so far, we had nothing NECA. Now we finally have on day 14 the NECA NES. And how fitting, because I got this guy exactly 6 years ago? Not exactly 6 years ago, like close. I got this guy for Christmas of that year, and I'm super excited to have him because because back then I had this one in the 54 when I opened them, so this guy's gonna be a little nostalgic to me. Positives and negatives, I guess. The positives is that the sculpting and painting is just beautiful. I love the blue. I love the dry brushing. I love the different pixelated colors on him. You have like gray, light blue, light blue, slightly darker blue. You have some reds in there too. Dorsal fins feel nice and big. Let's see. The tail feels really nice to just go down with like that. Assuming you're not twisting it. And the articulation's pretty rock solid too. I think this is one of the most movable neck Godzillas ever. I do have a bit of issues with mine, but they're more issues of how I used to treat my figures, because I used to treat them like toys. He has several scuffs and marks all across the body. Yeah, claw chippage, missing pinky nail actually. Glued in foot because his foot joint broke. Let's see. Scuffed up big dorsal fins. Glued hand. And yeah, that's kind of it, or in terms of my issues. Like, I used to batter this thing around like all the time. Now I don't do that. I just leave them on the shelf. Leave them there just to look cool. I might rearrange my shelf. Maybe. I want to keep it just so you guys know what it looks like for the Christmas collection video, which will happen on the 24th, I want to say. Yeah, I want to say. And, yeah, you have a bend up the knee there. Lots of different cool articulation as well. In terms of negatives that are not the negatives I brought, I wish there was a bit of a more tummy crunch, because in the game he kind of hunched over a little bit. Well, you can accomplish that a little bit. Like, kind of. It's not really apparent, I guess. Although you can kind of hunch it with the legs, so I guess that kind of solves it a little bit, maybe. For any other negatives, well, I mean, the wrists are way too small in my opinion. Then again, his hands are pretty small in the game, so I ain't gonna go against that. So I guess a bit of more nostalgia factor to it. If you're wondering how his foot broke, I think I remember dropping off the second bunk bed
and I was trying to land it on something that was soft, I think like a bunch of shirts, and then, because I was rearranging my room at the time, and I put the shirts on the ground, and then I tried to drop him from the bunk, and then he landed straight on the carpet floor, and that broke his foot. So that kind of sucks. But at least it's back together now, and it's working pretty fine. I might get a new one later sometime down the pipeline, but not to replace him. No, he's sacred. He's literally been with the start of the channel. I think he was one of the first, if not the first Godzilla figure to appear on the channel. Yeah, he definitely is. Just to get an idea of what a mint condition one looks like compared to my more in condition or used condition GameGodzilla over here. Also, he's the villain of the Angry Birds and Godzilla show. Hello everybody, I'm GameGodzilla. Or whatever. But yeah, that's going to have to do it for this Godzilla Advent Calendar. See you guys in the next video. Hoping to get another NECA in the NECA video in the works. Yeah, see you guys next time. Hi everybody, welcome back to another video, which is Godzilla Advent Calendar 2021, day number 15. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 3 5s, 3 times 5 equals 15. I'm smart. Anyways, my name is Matthew, and today, for day number 15, we are doing, of all the figures that the spin the wheel game had to pick, this had to be the one. Well, whatever. And you might be wondering, why am I so negative about this guy? Well, it's not that I'm negative. Everybody else is negative. Seriously, you would not believe of the images that when this guy was first revealed, that he was in stores or whatever, people were going nuts about this thing, saying this thing sucks. People were saying that the eyes were abysmal, the paint job was abysmal, the mold was abysmal, and if I had to say abysmal one more time, I don't know. But in truth, having the figure in hand and actually selecting this for myself, because I do want a Final Wars figure, and I have one now, do I think this is a good Final Wars figure? Kind of. Do I think that this is a good Godzilla figure? Kind of. Do I think that this has good qualities that people overlook? Yes, absolutely. Do I think this is the best figure in the world? Not by a long shot. Let's go ahead and kind of go over the positives and negatives. The positives is that the mold is actually not that bad. And even though in my review of this guy and my unboxing, I did state that this was a remold of a remolded figure, because this is remolded from the big Playmates 2004, which is remolded from the Bandai Creations 12-inch Bandai Godzilla, which I have the two all the way down there. The mold actually still carries a lot of that fantastic stuff. The detail. The dorsal fins are really well molded, by the way. Yeah, they have a bit of gaps, but that's only because they hunched the figure over. You have a nice little S shape for the tail, which is something Godzilla should have. The toe paint is kind of just slapped on, but again, kind of gives that more cartoony esque kind of thing, which I think is what Playmates was going for. Claws are painted decently well. Like, they're not painted all the way, but they're still painted rather decently. Let's feet there. The face is the most controversial part, and here's my problem. I feel like what makes this figure so off-putting, or what gets people all riled up about this guy, is that the eyes are too small and too pointed upward. If this guy's eyes were a bit bigger and a little shifted downward rather than at an upward angle, this would look way better than it has any right to be. But as it is right now, the eyes are painted okay. Like, they're painted rather seamlessly.
The pupils are blue for some reason, but I guess it's a stylistic choice. The teeth, I have a bit of a scuff, but it's not too noticeable, honestly. And the teeth are painted, just kind of slapped on. Tongue is painted pretty fine in there. And for articulation, I also like it. I have like a nice rotation here at the head. It kind of looks like I'm rotating the body, which I guess that's what I'm doing. Arms can go back about that far and about that far. Feet can go. Oh jeez, the feet are still tight even after all these months. I don't remember when I got this thing. Summer of this year, I think. Yeah. Same with the other leg. And I do advise you move the arms out of the way so you don't scuff anything. And a rotation at the end of the tail. So overall, would I recommend this guy? Yes and no. If you want a fully complete Playmates collection, just like I once did, go right ahead. If you guys want a good cheap Final Wars figure, go right ahead. But I would suggest go the extra mile to get the extra $10 for the Bandai creation or Bandai Movie Monster Series, EX or whatever they're called. Like, geez, how much Bandai figure lines are there with Godzilla? Like the Deformation King and whatnot. Like, I don't know. That's going to be saved for another video. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, and see you guys tomorrow where we go with day 16. Peace out, everybody. Well, I sure wasn't expecting a turns of events like this. Hi everybody, my name is Matthew, and welcome to day 16. That's right, we're at the final 10. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 of the 10 out of the 25 days remaining. And we're going to kick off the 10th day, or not 10th day, the 16th day, which is the NECA Godzilla 2014 6-inch tall version. That's right. He's my favorite figure in the collection and always has been. If you don't count the time I only have 3 figures, which was the NECA 54, NES, and 94, then I got him for them, then I got the Gashbon set. That's how I got my first 5 technical Godzillas, because they came in a set, but whatever. So, how ironic that we just, 2 episodes ago, we started with the NES Godzilla, which is GameGodzilla on the show, and now we have Godzilla himself. Now, if Red was a Godzilla character, and he got selected, that would go full circle. But sadly, he's not a Godzilla character. But technically, Angry Birds once did a crossover with Sonic, who once did a crossover with Fall Guys, who once did a crossover with Godzilla. So Angry Birds and Godzilla, they're one and the same. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, positives and negatives about this guy. I've got basically no negatives, because everything about this thing I love. Well, for starters, this thing is molded basically perfectly. There's literally no inaccurate detail on this thing. It's basically just ripped straight from the movie. It has all the necessary points of articulation anywhere you need. Like, seriously, this is... You can just hear me geeking out about this thing. I love it that much. It could be because I'm biased and I like the 2014 movie. It's what got me into Godzilla in the first place. And I have very fond memories of this thing. Not to mention I remember doing like a lot of Angry Birds and Godzilla show episodes with that, because it is my big project on the channel. The biggest show of them all. But at the same time, you know, I love this thing. I don't think there's much I would change about it. I mean... yeah, there's nothing I would really change. Yeah, articulation, you pretty much know what it is. 2 joints in the head and neck. 1, 2, 3 on the arm. Hinge at the jaw. Movement at the waist. Movement at the legs. Bend at the knee. swivel at the foot, or not swivel, ball joint at the foot. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4 joints right here. And then from here to here is pure rubber and bendy wire. So I love this thing, as you can clearly tell. But in terms of like, oh, what is it here? There's not much I can really say that I haven't said already, because I've talked about this thing way too many times to count. It's one of the oldest figures in the collection, and it's something I've been constantly talking about. This, that, literally every time. But what I will say is that, interesting thing to know, NECA actually did state that they planned a translucent plated version of this guy, but Toho sadly rejected it. I don't know why, because they would later accept the version 2, which has the same exact thing with the blue dorsal fins. So why didn't they accept this but accepted that? I have no idea. But that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for tomorrow, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, everybody. Hi everybody, it's me Matthew. Welcome back to another video, and today we're doing Godzilla Advent Calendar day number 17, which 17. So that means counting this episode, we got 9 more days to go. So as you guys saw, we have let's get them on my finger here. These little guys. These things are like the tiniest things in the world. The Godzilla YUBI Fingerpuppets 2001. Truth be told, I was not expecting these guys to win. Like when I was making the figure whatnot selections, I actually combined the two because it would literally be only for like 1 minute I'd talk about this thing. So I decided to pair them up together with their respective incarnations. So let's start off with version 1 here. Version 1 is actually pretty dang accurate in the way he looks. Like in terms of proportions, he's nowhere near accurate. But yeah, the eye paint is pretty good. At least the placement of it. The teeth are pretty painted, pretty well painted as well. Tongue's looking pretty painted as well. Claws, toes. The spines I do have a bit of a problem with, as they're just slapped on at the top and bottom. And it kind of makes the middle of it look unfinished. I know that's how it looked in the movie. Like he had a gray base and a gray base for the smaller rows, and then a gray topping for the middle row. But that just looks like it's unfinished. So like it looks like, yeah, it looks unfinished. This one actually kind of looks better, to me at least. First off, it's way more dynamic, because it's him bursting out of the hill like he did in the 54 movie. Did he do that in the 54 movie? I can't even remember. But yeah, he charges out of there. You can actually see behind him. I really like this thing, by the way. He doesn't have any painted teeth, which is kind of weird, but given the size, that's okay. The spines here actually look much better in my opinion, because it's much more sporadic, almost looking like gray metallic dry brushing. The eye placement's a bit wonky on this one, but that could just be mine. And once again, the hilltop and the dirt is looking pretty fine too. So overall, would I recommend these two? Probably yes. Excuse me. I just got done drinking Pepsi, so that's why I burped. You guys probably didn't even want to know the reason why I burped. So yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about these guys. If you can find them for a good price, because they probably go for like high prices on the aftermarket, like seriously, $5 for each. That's a bit much. Like seriously, $5 is $5. You can get pizza with that money.
funny enough, though, I actually do have... No, this is not any limited edition or anything. This is actually my own homemade work in progress Spitfire Godzilla, which the reason why I darkened him is because I wanted to give him like an all new paint job, coloring the dorsal fins. I might work on it later. I'm feeling crafty enough. So yeah, that's the Godzilla 2001 YUBI Fingerpuppets version 1, 2, and my custom V3 work in progress. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and catch you on tomorrow's video. Peace out, everybody. Hello everybody, welcome back to another day of the Godzilla Advent Calendar. My name is Matt, and today we're reviewing this big guy, which is the Bandai Creations or Movie Monster series, Godzilla 2004, big version. I don't know if it's the Monster King series, or whatever it is, the Bandai Creations. I don't know, this thing has a lot of different names, so I'm just gonna call it the Bandai 2004 12-inch Godzilla, because it's across all divisions at this point. For stuff that I like and don't like, I will give it that it has a very unique sculpt. I can't name another figure aside from bootlegs that use this mold and the Playmates that use this mold that actually look like this. This has a very unique look to it. Yeah, like that's definitely something I'll definitely say. He has a lot of rich detail to him, which I really do like. The spines are definitely really well painted too. I feel like that he could have used more white on the dorsal fins because, like this, even though this thing is like really old, this thing is like, I feel like he could have used a bit more white on the outside a bit. You know if that makes any sense? Because it's just on the tips. I know that's how it was in the movie, but it was a bit more towards the middle. You know, the black wasn't as big, so the white was a bit more on the outside and a bit towards the middle, but the black was still there primarily in the middle, if you know what I'm talking about. So I feel like the white should have been a bit more bigger, but it's okay. One thing that I've critiqued about this thing a lot was the pose. Like, I like this pose. Like, ignore the tail. I like this pose. This is good. This is good. The tail pose is okay, and if you're going for like a water look, like say if Godzilla's like submerged in the water and he's like waving his tail, that's good. But you combine those two elements, and this is one weird pose. Like, is Godzilla attacking another monster? Because like, why would he be curling in his tail? He'd normally have his tail out to the side, or like spread out, just laying flat on the ground. And not to mention, this just looks unhealthy for him. His tail would be broken. I know it's just to fit inside the box, but why not just make it disattachable? We've seen with Playmates that it's possible. Why can't Bandai do the same thing? And it's not like this thing is hard to remove. Like, okay, I was mistaken. This thing is very hard to remove, but it's still possible. There have been times where I've twisted this thing and popped it straight off. So, so those are some of the things I like and don't like. I like the articulation. It's rather basic, but you can swivel up the head, swivel up the biceps, swivel up the legs, and go. Yeah, swivel up the legs. Go 1, 2, 3, just like that. So overall, like that's pretty much all I have to really say. The paint job on the teeth, face, eyes, claws, and toenails are beautiful, by the way. So that's all I really have to say for this figure. If you can snag him for a good price, maybe like at the 20, 30, at very best 40 dollar prices, you're pretty much all set to go. You're golden. So that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did, like and subscribe, and see you guys for tomorrow's Godzilla Advent Calendar
day number 19. See you guys later. Hello everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. My name is Matt, and today we're reviewing this guy, the Bandai Creations, and I know this is the Creations, 2014 Godzilla from the 2014 Godzilla movie, 12-inch version to be exact. So, we're gonna here's a little bit of backstory. This thing was, I remember going to my local comic shop and seeing this guy. I wasn't expecting to see him because I thought this guy was like discontinued. But lo and behold, I see him at retail, and I'm just they actually put it on hold for me, and so when I come back some time later, they gave it to me. Obviously, I paid them, or whatnot. So that brings us to the figure, and you might actually remember me saying in the past reviews that there's something stuck inside here that you'd like jiggle it around and you would hear rustling like maracas. You guys hear that? There's something stuck inside here still. After all these years, I still never bothered to open this thing up. Like, I'm not gonna cut it open. I'm probably just gonna pop off one of the joints and make like a hole enough opening so I can like find out what is inside. Is it a rock? Is it a piece of vinyl? Plastic? So yeah, I eventually do just want to do that one day. Maybe I will heat the sucker up. So yeah, positives and negatives. The size is amazing. I love the pose. I've heard many people critique it that he can never look straight ahead. Problem solved. Even though he has a big hunch to him, 2014 was always had a hunch. So even though this is a bit more apparent of a hunch, this is still relatively what he was like in the 2014 movie. So this, as a normal stance, does not bother me in the least. The tail is really odd because it swoops all the way up and then curls back down with all things lined up. I also like the posability. The head rotates right at the base of the head, not the neck, like the 2004 Godzilla I previously reviewed the other day. The arms can move side to side, just like that, almost like he's, again, getting arrested. Well, that looks less like he's getting arrested, more like he's trying to fly like a bird. The Amber's Godzilla show much? The legs can move a full 360. I actually did it, and it nearly broke the figure, but luckily I was careful. And you have 1, 2, 3 joints. This joint initially, when I got out of the box, was stuck with paint, so I heard a crack, and it worked fine since. Also, that horrid sound. Not a pleasant sound. But what is also actually pretty pleasant is the poses you can get out of him in general, because you line it up like this, and you can get his tail like swooping up in the air while he's doing his roar. Or you can come in, curl all the way in. Okay, how do I do this? Yeah, curl all the way in like this, and then line it up like this, so you can have his tail like this, and he's almost like he's swimming. And not to mention his head's all the way straight forward, so you can recreate that effect perfectly. Just make sure to tuck in the arms like this, and boom, you got yourself a swimming Bandai Creations Godzilla 2014 12-inch. Putting it back to normal like this. For any negatives, well, there isn't really much negatives. I like the eye paint, like the teeth paint, tongue paint, the chest paint, bottom and tail paint. Everything's good. If there is one thing I could critique it about, it probably would be
the way it's detailed. I feel like even though this is fine as it is, this feels a bit too dragony, if you know what I'm talking about. Because even though Godzilla has been compared to a dragon, there are more dragon-like characters in the Godzilla series than Godzilla himself, like King Ghidorah. This does not look like the scaling that's on Godzilla's legs, in my opinion. This looks more like the scaling that's on Ghidorah's body or Gigan's chest. Assuming you're not counting the buzzsaw. But aside from that, I really do like the way this is overall presented. With that being said, I really don't have any other things to say about him. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace out, everyone. Stay tuned for tomorrow for day 20 of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. Everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew, and this is day 20. Day 20? Is it day 21? I think it's day 20. Yeah, it's definitely day 20 today. As you guys saw, we're reviewing another NECA figure. That means there's about 6 more to go, counting this. Today's figure we're reviewing is the NECA 1964 Godzilla. This thing is sweet, and as a little bonus, I'm gonna throw in this ornament, which people are gonna laugh at me. So before we get to the actual figure, this was my Mothra for many years. Okay, I called this thing Mothra before I got my hands on true blue Mothra figures, like not blue, but like you get what I'm trying to say. So yeah, this was my Mothra for a long time, and I'm super happy that if you're wondering why I still have this, it's because I feel like it deserves a spot in the collection. Not to mention MonsterVerse Godzilla kind of makes sense. So yeah, that's kind of why I have that. That's just a regular Christmas ornament. I think I still have that on the spin the wheel thing I used to select these episodes. But if I do, I'm not sure if I do, but if I end up actually doing it, I'm going to take it off the wheel because I talked about it here. So let's get into the actual figure itself. Positives and negatives. Positives, everything. Near everything. The articulation is amazing. The sculpting is gorgeous. And the painting is just rock solid. I could fanboy about this thing all the time. All day long, all the time, every day, all day, any day of the week, any month of the year, any week of the month, any month of the year, anytime. And you can even recreate that little flying thing. In fact, he actually comes with a beam effect. And you just simply latch into his mouth, and there you go. But you know, that's another thing. I said positives. I basically have everything in positives. The one negative, and this is the thing that really gets me, is actually the beam itself. Now, don't get me wrong. The beam itself is sculpted absolutely gorgeously. This thing is certainly well done. In fact, if I put it on this guy's mouth, it looks pretty friggin' sweet. But what is it about it that looks or is so bad? This thing used to fall out like all the time. Okay, there we go. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's a loose fit. Okay, like I know it's going to be mainly standing on the shelf a lot, but the 62 and the 56, even the 2019 V2 before that started falling out, and the G.M.K and Shin, all those had sturdier connections than this. But I guess now my problem's been remedied, so I might as well say this thing is a perfect figure. You saw that right, ladies and gentlemen. My opinion has changed. Okay. Don't want to ruin this thing. Scuffing? No. So, this beam effect is sweet. This Godzilla figure is sweet.
And my very own little Mothra, quote-unquote, butterfly ornament is also sweet. So I'm impressed. I'm happy. Just holding this figure and the beam will make me happy. I'm that into these NECA Godzillas. Anyways, I think that's all I really have to say. I guess he's a perfect figure because there's no problems. Granted, the beam could be a bit tighter. Like, even if you flip it to this side, in fact, it's actually a... Okay, there we go. It's a worse connection that upside down, so I recommend going like this. So yeah, there we go. That's all I really have to say. If you guys liked the video, definitely leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next day of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. See you guys later. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew and Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar day number 21 is none other than the Lootcrate, Reactor Glow, Godzilla Glow in the Dark figure. Or I guess by its full name. So interesting stories how I got this. I ordered the NECA Shin Godzilla, right? And that, and it was taking a little while, so they sent this as a thing to wait on, and like wait on the Shin Godzilla, whatnot. And so I basically got this guy for free. That was years ago, by the way. I still haven't gotten that NECA Shin Godzilla. Although I keep getting teased with figures that are exactly like it. This is the NECA Atomic Blast Godzilla. This is the NECA, not NECA, Playmates Shin Godzilla. Shout out to my sister for getting me this. And I got this guy on my own accords, but when am I even going to talk about this thing again? So yeah, task at hand here. This thing is amazing. First up, the mold. I know some people have a gripe with the mold saying, oh, it's not accurate. Oh, it's stupid. It doesn't look anything like it. The 94, 95 or whatever. Have you guys ever heard of stylization? Because from what I've seen, clearly not. Like, they tried their best. Remember, this was an American studio at the time taking their first crack at a Heisei Godzilla or classic Godzilla, because prior to this they made, or like the 94 I'm talking about, they made the 2014, and that's all the experience they had prior to it. So this is actually pretty dang close to a Heisei Godzilla, at least when it comes to like that sort of thing. The mold is beautiful. I love all the crisp details and glossy paint and whatnot. The burning patches, can you even call them burning patches? I guess. The glowy patches, let's actually call them that. The glowy patches are really well solid as well. Interesting thing to note here is that even though it looks like it's black with green plastic infused with it, that's actually not the case. This whole figure is actually translucent and green, or well, not the entire thing, but a big majority of this whole figure is translucent green with black paint to match the plastic that the 94 and 95 figures used. And the way to prove this is actually by looking at this little gap in right in his stomach region. You can kind of see that it's like all green, and this part is all painted on, which is amazing. NECA really knocked that out of the park. I also like his bluish claws. Yeah, they're really blue. The blue claws right there. Right there. I really like that. His face looks mean as all heck.
And while his tail could be longer, honestly, this is a pretty okay length. It's nothing too outright terrible. It's nothing outright magnificent, great. It's just okay, at least in terms of tail length. The articulation is pretty kick butt too. I have like two joints in the head, 1 and 2. And I already pointed this out, but if you pop off the head, it turns out the neck isn't actually a joint, but rather a sleeve to cover a barbell style ball joint. So there's a ball joint here and here, which are just one singular peg. There's also a jaw hinge, and interesting enough, if you also pop off the head, there's actually a groove at the back of the head where it allows him to look up more. I demonstrated one of my reviews of this guy in the past. Let's see, arm movement, you have a ball joint at the shoulder, ball joint hinge joint at the bicep, ball joint hinge joint at the elbow, a ball joint at the wrist, a hinge at the finger. So this is probably the most articulated arm in NECA Godzilla history. Barbell style ball joint at the waist. You can go shift side to side. Lots of cool motion. In and out with the legs, up and down, side to side and whatnot. Ball joint, hinge joint combo at the knee. Ball joint at the foot. And 1, 2, 3, 4 segments of ball joints from here to here, and from here on out, it's just pure bendy wire. I'm not gonna, I've never actually bent this thing on this Godzilla because I don't want the wire breaking, and not to mention, this is actually the rarest Godzilla in all NECA history, even though nowadays all of them are pretty dang rare, at least for affordable prices. Remember, I got this thing for free. Free. So, I'm pretty pleased with that. So I guess that's something I can brag about all day long. So anyways, that's all I really have to say for now. Thank you guys for watching. If I could put out a recommendation, yes. If you can find this thing for a good price, which good luck with that. That being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. See you guys later. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew and welcome to day 22 of the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2021. And today's is a very special one because we got something that's all the way from the 90s, is probably older than half of the people watching this. The 1998 Godzilla Trendmasters Fangbite Godzilla, which I know it's Fangbite because it bites. We'll get to that in a minute. So what some things I like, what things I don't like. Some things that I like are definitely its mold. I love the sculpt, the details. I love its glossy to matte kind of transitions throughout the body because you have some parts of the figure that are matte, like the shoulders, but some parts that are glossy, like the neck, more towards up here. And then, like, it's just so cool. Especially like the rubbery fins, which these are really rubbery, by the way. It's just so cool seeing this. The pink gums are pretty good as well, although they kind of look a little whitish. The white teeth look pretty good too. The nails are really well done with some nice glossy black paint. Maybe it's nail polish, although then again it'd probably scent like heck. Because I know nail polish scents. Would 20-year-old nail polish still have its scent? Maybe. But we have the tail in an interesting pose. It almost looks like an octopus tentacle. For articulation, there's nothing at the head, although you do get a bit of up and down movement, but that's more of something we'll cover in a minute.
Hinge at the jaw, but again, it's more for a gimmick, and as you can see, it's spring-loaded. Moving up the arm, it allows you to go all the way back here, but if you move the rubbery dorsal fin, you can get some more back all the way down to here. You can go all the way forward, down to the knee, or I guess leg. Same thing with this part. Yeah, you can go all the way down. Come on. This leg, hold on, I'll cover this leg. This leg can go up about that far, backwards about that far. Both of them can ratchet at the knee, and both of them can move at the foot in a back and forth motion. And this has a rotation all the way here, all the way around like this. So if you want to hit into like cup something, like grab something, maybe it's like one of those cartoon hooks on stage, maybe it like comes onto the stage and then grabs the person off the stage. If you want to do that, it really could. And I know there's a seam line here, but there's nothing there because it's definitely glued in there. And you might have noticed that I didn't point out this leg, because this leg is actually for a gimmick. You pull down his this leg, and you'll see him starting to like mouth your movement a little bit. Like that's just me doing it. You can do it without me talking. And then you're gonna pull that all the way. Yeah, you guys hear that? I'm going to hold it up to the microphone better so you guys can actually hear that. Mine is very low on battery probably, or something's damaged with the speakers. But then again, this thing is again 20 years old. And he also came with like a little display base, which is pretty cool. For things I don't like, there's not much I can really say I don't like. It's a fairly simplistic, decently put together action figure. I would complain about the screw holes, but again, I already pointed that out in my Giant Kong 2021 Godzilla vs. Kong 11-inch. Okay, you can stop roaring. For 2021, which was day one, I believe, and I said that I'm so used to screw holes on toys at this point, it doesn't affect me anymore. So, with that being said, do I recommend him? Yes, absolutely. You can probably find him on like eBay, Amazon, anything like that. Any like aftermarket prices, because, well, I think I got this guy for a decent price, I think. But that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you can find this guy for a good price, you can. Maybe some, what is it? I forget what it's called. Auction stores, that's an option. Yeah, there's other sites you can get it from. But that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did, like and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another Godzilla video when they're uploaded, or any type of video that I'm uploading at the time. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, everyone. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew and welcome to day 23 of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar, which, counting today, we have 3 more days to go until the end of the Advent Calendar, and it's also Christmas Day. So, as you could tell by the title, thumbnail, and the spin the wheel thing from before, we're reviewing the Godzilla King of the Monsters figure from 2019's Godzilla King of the Monsters by NECA. One of the all-time favorites of the collection. Who could appreciate that face? But you might notice it says plus building. Well, that's because I made my own little custom building, which I still have yet to finish. Trust me, I'm gonna get there one day. Basically, I'm gonna take a look at that as well. But for the most part, we're going to go over the positives and negatives about this guy. For positives, I have a lot of positives. The sculpting is beautifully done. The painting is just outright magnificent. You can definitely see on the spines a lot of that crisp detail. There's also a lot of cool like bumps and crevices. I've heard some people say that this is like a remold or reused from the NECA 2014 over there. But I do want to say that I don't know if that's true. NECA did state that this was an entirely new mold from the ground up, but I don't know if that's really true. NECA can say all they want, but this looks really, really close to the 2014 figure. Like, seriously. Well, I mean, let's just say it is a different mold. Because it's certainly made of different parts. Like, when I pointed this out in my unboxing 2 years ago, close to 3, my goodness. I said that this guy felt different, and he does. Like, he really does. But he's still equally as cool as he has always been. You know, he's still my #1 favorite legendary Godzilla, aside from him. He's still my favorite, but, like, aside from him, he's my favorite. Actually, maybe version 3 is up there? I don't know. I love them all. The articulation's pretty solid, too. Also, there's an infamous issue with the eyes. I don't have that. Like, they're perfectly aligned. They look very accurate to the movie. And the teeth are really well painted. This thing is awesome. There's... The articulation is pretty good, too. Same as the 2014s, except the hands are upgraded with a hinge ball joint. And the, let's see what else. The feet are a bit more freed up here. And instead of just the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the bendy wire, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ball joints. This is incredible. Like, I love this tail. I don't care. I love this tail. Even if it pops out, even if it breaks, I still love this thing. He doesn't come with any accessories, so that's why I made my own. This is less from Godzilla King of the Monsters and more from Godzilla vs. Kong. Very sloppily done. Basically, I caked a bunch of paint on this thing and tried to make it a neon building. You know, the ones you find in Hong Kong. I got some pieces cut out and painted them with black nail polish. Especially here, because it's like all glossy. You know, this kind of looks like to me. If it's a chocolate bar, you bite into it like that, and then you see like the inside. It's, you know, you get what I'm talking about. I don't think that almost looks like teeth marks. But I'm just saying that right there is definitely a handsaw. I just like that. Same with this part, and then just cut it off. I actually think I still have the piece for this part. It's in my drawer over there. So yeah, I just caked on some green paint. I mean, this looks more like an eyeball that you'd see on like Bill Cipher or something. And this just looks like actually something you'd see in Hong Kong, just less caked on. I can still feel it. I probably should have to sand this thing. Yeah, I have to sand this thing. But yeah, that's all I really have to say for these two. Little bonus actually. You can actually insert the tail into this like he's slamming it. Or actually come closer and like maybe recreate the 2014 thing where he's like the man just like flying in. Not to mention he has a very articulated tail, so you can kind of get him wagging like a dog. So that's all I really have to say for this video. If you guys liked it, like and subscribe. Stay tuned for tomorrow, Christmas Eve, day 24 of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar, where I don't know which figure it is. I don't pre-select these. It's all done by the Spin the Wheel game. If I did pre-select them, they'd all be NECAs, because I'm biased. Anyways, see you guys later. Peace out, everyone. I mean, do I even need to say it?
do I even need to say the irony of this whole thing? Of all the days that spin the wheel game chooses to pick, of all the action figures that I have in my collection that are still waiting for their chance on this advent calendar, it chooses this on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve! It chooses the Playmates Shin Godzilla, what might be and is regarded as one of the worst Godzilla figures of all time. Personally, I don't really think it's one of the worst. It's like a so bad it's good kind of thing. But personally, there's a lot of good things about it, in my opinion. But let's go over the positives and negatives. I'm being a little too harsh here, but to introduce, welcome to the day 24 of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. My name is Matt, and we're reviewing the Playmates Shin Godzilla, which is one of the most infamous figures of all time. You can actually go to my review of this guy from a few months ago, back in summer, I believe. So, yeah, that's when I got this guy. So, positives and negatives. The positives is that even though it uses the NECA figure mold, that means this thing has a pretty dang nice sculpt to it. Lots of nice intricate details, lots of like nice bumps, grooves, and ridges all across the body, sprinkled everywhere. The spines are a bit too gummy for me, but honestly, given the circumstances, you guys probably already know the story. But to recap, basically the plan was for G.M.K to release in March of 2020. The movie got delayed till November 2020 before being delayed again. And so, under contract with Walmart, they had to scramble and find some Godzilla toys for Godzilla and King Kong toys for the market, and that's how they wound up with these things. Yeah, lots of nice sculpting. The articulation's pretty nice too. Rotation at the head, arm movement, limited leg movement. Like it can't do a 360. It can only go that far up and down, and this one can only go that far up, that far down. But the feet can rotate a full 360 on both sides, as you guys can see here. And two joints at the tail with a ball joint here that allows for a full rotation, a 360, and a circular movement. Well, this can only go side to side, and I mentioned before that it actually scrapes up against the skull. The paint is a whole negative. The eyes are somehow more accurate than the monster arts. Like, it's $10 versus $100, $200, potentially $300 on the aftermarket. The teeth and gums are painted abysmally. Looks like something straight out of the Muppets show. Or Sesame Street, maybe. The claws are painted pretty, okay, I guess. They're just kind of slapped on. The outer row of dorsal fins, they're not really outer row, are painted red. Nothing's painted in between. A little bit of red spray on the legs and the, what you'd say, toenails. A bit of the tail right here to here. A little bit of the tail here. And then from here to here, the tail tip is all painted. So only select parts of the body are painted, while the promo pictures showed a fully painted Shin Godzilla. Especially on the back of the box that this thing came in. What are you guys doing over there at Playmates? But do I recommend him? I guess if you like so bad it's good Godzilla figures or figures in general, go right ahead. I guess this guy's a good pickup if you can find him for a good price at the aftermarket. Because again, go watch my previous videos about this guy, but he was only ever sold once and never sold again, probably because of how crummy he is. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. Like, subscribe, see you guys for tomorrow for the final day of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. See you guys later.
back to the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. My name is Matt, and today is day 25, aka the final episode of this whole thing. Right now, it is Christmas Day, and I hope you guys are having a blast with your families, maybe friends even. Maybe you're having like a nice dinner, opening up presents, maybe going somewhere for the holidays. But whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a great time, and it's time that we have some fun. For day 25, as you guys probably saw by the title and thumbnail and the clip before this, we are taking a look at the Playmates Battle Roar Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong. How ironic that the strangest figure I probably own is the one to be the final one. So, also how ironic that the first and last figures are Godzilla vs. Kong figures. Because the first one was the giant Kong from G.M.K, the 11-inch, and now we have the Battle Roar Godzilla from G.M.K. So, positives and negatives. The positives is that I like the molding, honestly. It's very shallow detail, but it still gets the job done really well. The translucent dorsal fins are a very good plus, in my opinion, not to mention they're very rubberized, so kids won't be getting hurt by this thing anytime soon. The placement of the gums and the teeth, they're actually pretty good too. And the screw holes, while they are a negative to many, I personally don't mind them, as I've said several times already, that I've grown up with toys that had screw holes, so I'm used to toys having screw holes, even in the current day. The toe and claw paints are looking pretty good too. I feel like the claw paint could be more apparent and more better, in my opinion. But for negatives, well, I have a little bit of issues. For example, posture is just odd. Like, he's looking straight up, but his tail's like curling in. Is he like trying to get ready to attack Kong, maybe? His claws are in a fixed position. His legs are like... I know this is a common thing with all Playmates Godzillas, but they're on a fixed position, so that limits what kind of posability you can get from these things. And, another thing that really sucks is the dry brushing and the dorsal fin shape. Because I already talked about this thing in my review of this guy, actually twice, when I pit this guy against the NECA V2 Godzilla from 2019, NECA. And the mold of this thing sucks, like the dorsal fins, but the material's pretty good. The dry brushing sucks because it's just caked on. It doesn't even look like true blue dry brushing. And the tail paint is very cool, honestly, but I really wish they could have painted this part. That kind of bugs me, even though it's like very small, smaller than the size of a pinky nail. It's still very noticeable when you look at it from the back. So, also, this thing is pointing straight up. So when you have this thing on the shelf, you're going to have all your Godzillas looking straight forward, but this one's going to look up. So, like, why did they make it look up? I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the jaw gimmick. But, speaking of gimmicks, we have a few gimmicks. Well, I guess just one, but there's two versions of it. This guy can roar, as this name suggests, Battle Roar. See, you press this big button, which I've already complained about the button in my previous reviews. You open it, and then he does this. And then he does another roar like this. I've heard a lot of people say that they don't like the volume on this thing. To me, it's actually fairly decent volume. But I think a bigger complaint I have with it is, I feel like there should have been lights. Like, come on, this thing is like, if there's big enough, you couldn't like put at least one little tiny bulb in there, maybe at the center that will light the whole thing up. That would have been cool, at least. So yeah, they could have put in a little bulb, I would say. I've heard many people say that the second roar, this roar, does not appear in the movie. It does when Godzilla is basing Kong in round 3, and then he flings into the building, charges at the building, and then gets his head stuck in the building and rams it out. And then he proceeds to slap Kong with his tail and then crawling on all fours. Right at that moment where he's crawling on all fours, he does that exact roar. It's a shortened version of it, but he does that roar. So it does appear in the movie, so I don't get why people are saying, oh, it's not Godzilla, it doesn't sound like it is Godzilla. So that's honestly really all I have to say about this guy. If you can find him for a good price, maybe like 15, 20 bucks I think he retails for, go right ahead. This thing is actually pretty cool, but at the same time he's also very odd. Yeah. So if you like strange Godzilla figures or whatnot, definitely pick him up. And not to mention he's from the new hot movie, Godzilla vs. Kong. So that's all I have to say for this video, and that pretty much wraps up the Godzilla 2020 Advent Calendar. I really do thank every single one of you that watched the whole series from start to finish. If you watched it on December 1st, or maybe you were you just found out about it midway, but then you watched it from day 1, 2, 3, 4 up to present, I really do commend you guys, and thank you guys for joining us on the Godzilla 2020 Advent Calendar. I'm Matthew signing off, and have a fantastic day. See you guys later. Look at this. Look at all these figures. They're still waiting for their chance to shine. Only a few of these figures have actually made it onto the 2021 Advent Calendar. And I know Christmas was yesterday. But I think it's about time we give these figures another chance, eh? So what do you say we keep it going till New Year's, eh? Who's with me? Oh wait, I forgot. They can't talk without me. Dang it! Welcome back to another video. My name is Matt, and you might be surprised by this because, well, I said that, day 25 would be the last one, and that's usually where Advent calendars stop. But not this one. As a little bonus, we're going to go straight to December 31st or New Year's Eve, so we're not stopping. Just yet, at least, for Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. And as you can see, the big boy, the Godzilla 2004 Playmates giant size, is the figure we're taking a look at today. Because I feel like some figures, behind me, they could use some shine in the light, like not these neon lights, like more or less other type of lights. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Anyways, yeah, so positives and negatives. For positives, he has a very decently good sculpt, and I say decently because the shallow details very noticeable on this guy. Not to mention he borrows the sculpt from the 2004 Bandai Godzilla for like 12 inches or so from many years ago. But at least that is a good sculpt overall. Not to mention the head looks even more accurate than the 2004 Bandai, which I actually find pretty dang sweet, because they probably were remolding the figures and said, are we really going to put this out and say that this is 2004? So they remold the head. Then again, they are the guys who put out the Shin Godzilla. Anyways, so I already took a look at you. Don't you look at me like that. So yeah, another thing is that I really like the nails and whatnot. The paint is amazing. Even though he's kind of googly-eyed a bit, I think you're still able to have a good sense of like his visual nature is just beautiful. Articulation goes as head swivel, bicep swivel for both arms. You can kind of get it look like he's being arrested or something. For the leg joints, they can go all the way around, but these are really loose and they actually do grind up against the sculpt I've showed you guys before. Feet swivels, back and forth or side to side tail. It does have a bit of back and forth, but it's not really meant to. And rotation at the tail. Did I mention rotation at the feet? Yeah, I think I did. I'm just having a brain fart right now. So yeah. Let's see. What else should I mention? For negatives, yeah, the sculpt is unoriginal, but at the same time, it's more accurate. The tail is definitely a plus, though. I would say this figure could use a bit more dry brushing, though, maybe. Yeah, this thing would have been perfect if there was some dry brushing. Also, a more detailed sculpt. So I think it needed a more detailed sculpt and a more dry brushing to really be the best it could be. But they did reissue Kong from Kong Skull Island in an all-new, decked out, painted, fully painted in the gums, everything. So I wonder if 2004 got the same treatment, or they just looked at this and said, this is good enough. So they just reissued the dang thing. So, that's all I really have to say for this Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. I have a lot of fun making these. That's also part of the reason why I'm keeping it going. So, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys later. Hello everybody, welcome back to another bonus day of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. My name is Matt, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Bandai Banpresto King Ghidorah 2019 from 2019's Godzilla 2 King of the Monsters. This guy is absolutely insane. Well, in that how he's a concept. Like, a chibi King Ghidorah that somehow still looks like a King Ghidorah. It's crazy. But what's also I don't think as crazy is probably the way it's executed, because like the sculpt is gorgeous. Okay, you can see any of the fine ridge, snake and dragon-like details. This feels like a dragon, not just like some sort of generic Hydra-like alien. No, this feels like a Ghidorah that would probably come out straight from Toho. That being said, the paint job is flat. It's super minimal. The eye paint is pretty good. The teeth paint and gum paint are decent. And the dry brushing on the horns is pretty good as well. And I guess the claw paint can be accounted to as well. But aside from that, that's it. That is all the paint that's on this thing. All the colors are just literally the same kind of generic gold that we're so used to seeing. And like, another problem is that like, it's just all the same. There's no color variety in this thing. I know Ghidorah is like purely just gold, but why not like a dry brush of gold? Like get some dry brushing, get some like, not like actual gold, because it would up the price of this thing significantly, and just brush the heck out of that thing. Just give it some more dry brushing. Was it that hard to do? I've seen figures at the same price point, even Godzilla, the Godzilla up there. I keep these things up there, and they still look pretty good. This does not, by comparison. But I guess I might as well talk about the accessories, which is this base, which comes with all three of the Godzilla King of the Monsters Deformation King series. So it's basically just a bunch of crumbled buildings together with no color variety whatsoever. But this one also comes with a little, the poorly named crotch cradle, which you basically take this figure. There's peg holes at the bottom of the feet, so you peg those on there, and you might think you're just good to go, right? Well, no. You want to take out the crotch cradle and try to sit it underneath Ghidorah's crotch. Oh boy, the people that are gonna take this out of context is not gonna
today. Am I doing it the wrong way? I think I am. I think you have to go in from this way. There you go. So just like that, you put the crotch cradle in there, and there you go. But also Ghidorah does come in a bit of pieces. For example, the wing here, the wing there, and the body itself are all different pieces. In fact, the wings and the tails on these sides and this sides are separate. Like they come together, so that's something to keep an eye out for. So there's 5 pieces total: the main body, this tail and this wing, the crotch cradle, and the stand itself. So there you go. So that being said, I don't really have much else to talk about, so I'm gonna end this thing off with a bit of a recommendation. Do I recommend this? Yes. If you like little chibi King Ghidorahs, definitely go for this one, because this is the closest thing we have to a King Ghidorah Funko Pop. About the same size. Because this thing actually scales decently well with the other Funko Pop Godzilla, the King of the Monsters figure. But anyways, that's all I have to say for now. If you guys liked it, definitely subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, everyone. Wasn't there supposed to be a countdown? Hey everybody, welcome back to another day of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. My name is Matt, and this is bonus day, and this is day number 28. And today we're reviewing the Trendmaster's bendable Mecha Godzilla figure, which I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. This is kind of the oddball, or one of the oddballs in my collection, because I don't have a lot of vintage figures. A lot of my figures are much more newer, from like NECA, Bandai, and Playmates. So seeing a few Trendmasters in my collection really brings in, you know, a lot of cool figures to my collection. I'm not gonna make any sense. But when you boil it down, this figure is amazing. He's very short, but he's also very accurate to the movie. They got this thing pretty spot on. For a company that really stylized Godzilla figures, like Rodan looked more like a bat than he did look more like a pterodactyl or whatever kind of monster or bird, I guess. But yeah, for sculpt and paint, he's completely encased in like a brown paint, and it's still pretty good even after all these years. Probably because he was in a casing for like a majority of him before of his life before I opened him up. Because like that's what I like to do. I like to open my figures up. I want my money what it's worth. And for articulation, he doesn't really have articulation, but rather he actually has like bendy wires going all the way in his body, which really puts in a lot of cool movement you can do. Like maybe if you want to like put his hand up or something, if you want to like put his tail up, shift it up. There's a big gap all by the way over here, but I mean that's totally fine, especially given the size. One problem is that he can't stand, probably with his feet that are comparable to the material of clown shoes, but to be honest, it's all rubber anyway. He also does come with an accessory, kind of. It's a trading card, which I showed off better in the review because I'm at a distance with the camera. But it's the Mechagodzilla, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and then it reads a bunch of Mechagodzilla stats. And copyright 1994, Toho Company Limited. So that's all I really have to say for this little guy. He's a very unique little piece. He's also fairly good in condition, honestly. I'm not going to bend this thing because even though it's fresh out of the box still, kind of, it's not, the wires are like over 20 years old, and one little bend could break this thing in two. And I'm not going to mess with this thing, so That being said, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 29. Peace out, everybody. And again with no countdown. Come on. Guess that's only for photos. Hello everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew and we're taking a look at Gigantus, the Fire Monster. I don't think this thing actually has like an official name, but you're just gonna have to roll with me that this thing is Gigantus. That's just the name I gave him. He's the largest figure in my collection, both in terms of size and length. Maybe in terms of length, he might be outdone by one of the NECA Godzillas, but if not, they're pretty dang close. But definitely in terms of height, like he's bigger than the Playmates, and he's bigger than the Bandais, which I find incredible. The overall sculpt and paint on this thing is pretty dang sweet. I really love how this thing turned out. His teeth mold is just kind of basic half circles with some yellow paint on it, which it's a bit chipped, a bit messily painted, but honestly that's nothing too bad. The eye paint is amazing, even though he kind of looks like something out of the Muppets. The chest paint's just one big splotch of red. A bit of a glowy kind of almost looking effect for the spines here, which you can call these spines, I mean I guess they are spines, but they feel more like an actual spine, honestly, rather than dorsal spines, if that makes any sense. And yeah, he's just kind of mixed with black and red all together. The only true color on him besides those is the red tongue here and the white teeth for the paint. Weirdly enough, he actually has a throat hole, so you can actually maybe like put a little army guy in there and have him get eaten by this kaiju. For articulation, you have a movement at the head, rotations at the arms. Keep in mind, the bigger the figure is, the more likely it is to be tight, and Gigantus is certainly no exception. So you can do that. The feet are incredibly stiff, my goodness. And the tail is like, it's not as stiff, but it's still decently tight. You can get a full rotation out of it, just like that. And overall, I really do think that, well, those are kind of my positives. I like the sculpt, I like the paint, I like the articulation. Well, is there any critiques I have with this guy? I mean, maybe he could have used a better sculpted nose, like maybe some better nostrils. But even then, I'm just more pointing that out now than anything. So, I realistically don't have any negatives about this guy. Also, you can hold him by his tip of his tail and he'll still stay. That's how tight the tail joint is. Okay, maybe you can move him a little bit if you do this. But, yeah, that's kind of what I... this is one of my favorite figures of the whole collection because of how big he is. So, yeah, I don't really have much else to say. Aside from thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 20. Sorry, actually, I don't think it's day 20 something. It's now going to be day 30. See you guys later for the next day of Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. Peace out, everyone. Okay. Frame here. Actually, let's angle it up a little bit. Okay, see me? Alright. I think we're good to go. 3, 2, 1. everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Matt, and today we're taking a look at day number 30, which is this dude, the Bandai Creations Godzilla 2000 figure. I don't have a lot to say about him, aside from he's one of the classic Godzilla figures. Everybody knows him, at least I'm assuming. For positives and negatives, the positives is that he has a very nice sculpt to him. The paint works pretty good too, especially with the frosted blending tips of the purple dorsal fins. And the tail, while it's a bit short, it's understandable given the size of the box. He has to fit inside of it. His posture is a little odd to me, at least. So, I guess that could be a bit of a complaint. His claw paint is decently put on there, even though it's just kind of slapped on. Toe nails are looking fine. Teeth and face are looking nice too. I do have a deformity on this dorsal fin right there. It's a bit circular, but it's honestly nothing worth pointing out, even though I'm just pointing it out to you. For articulation, he can move at the bicep and he can move at the legs. There is articulation at the tail, I believe, but if you break the glue seal, but there is a glue seal here, so not really much else to write home about. And I really don't have anything else to talk about. Is there any negatives? Well, again, the posture is a bit of a negative. That short tail's a negative, even though again that's a bit understandable. There's a bit of an overspray over here, and he's a bit too stiff in my opinion, but it's probably because I'm so used to the Fusion series right here. Also, I like this setup better because I can literally just reach behind me and grab a figure. That being said, I do think this figure is pretty rock solid. If you guys don't have it yet, definitely pick it up. That being said, thank you guys for watching this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys for day 31 for the last day of the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. See you guys later.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. My name is Matt, and you might be wondering why I'm doing it in this style. Well, two reasons. One, it's a poster, and two, it'd be weird for me to sit in front of the whole shelf and talk about a poster that's out of view. And I'm certainly not taking this off because it's such a pain to get on. I know I can just simply tape it back on, but the fact is, this thing really was a pain. So I'm not taking it off. Anyway, thoughts. It's literally Godzilla artwork. I think this was done by either a fan or it's official. But if it's officially made, I've never seen any like merchandise or posters or anything. Maybe it's like concept art. I'm not exactly sure. But if this is fan art, credit to the artist. This thing was entirely a Christmas gift and was probably sold online. So that's probably how. See what else. There's Godzilla, you know, just kind of swooping down with his tail in the foreground. At this point, it's just me analyzing art. It's made of like some sort of felt material. It's not even real paper. And overall, it's still in decent condition. I don't know what else to say. It's definitely a cool poster. I got this thing like a few years ago, at the very least. So, that being said, I thought that I was gonna be able to say some more stuff, but I guess not. Thank you guys for watching the Godzilla 2021 Advent Calendar. I really hope you guys enjoy your New Year's, and see you guys later.